Hi guys, Tom Hunt here in the kit room, and today we're going to run through a couple of these new baits from Westin. They are under our R2F range. That stands for ready to fish. And basically what we've done is we've taken some of the most popular, best selling and best fish catchers in our range and created them in a ready to fish. So integrated weight systems, perfect hook systems that allow you to just clip them on, cast them out and catch fish. It's as simple as that. We've got this one, which is the Shad Teez 16 centimeters. We're going to run through some of the technical specs, the weights, the color range. We've also got the Bull Teez curl tail in 21 centimeters. Same thing, we'll run through the weights, the color range, a couple of extra little tips and stuff like that. And also in true Tom's kit room fashion, yes, these baits, you clip them on, cast them out, catch straight away. There's nothing to do. There's always a couple of little rigging tips I can give you. There's always a couple of little added extra things. So we're also going to run through rods and reels and braid and stuff like that I like to use them on, and a couple of little extras like, what's that? Well, stick around and you can find out. So yeah, a couple of little extra tips. So let's get started. Shad Teez 16 centimeters, absolutely perfect snack sized pike fishing bait. Here we are in the R2F and you can't beat this color. It's one of my favorites. It's headlight. Silver or some sort of silver is always going to be fantastic because it replicates a lot of the bait fish that they're feeding on. But in the range as well, we've also got official roach, fire tiger. You've always got to have something quite leery in the range. We've got, I absolutely love this one, super excited, it's now in a soft bait. This has previously been in the Westin swim range and it's Baltic pike, so real Baltic pike here in the Shad Teez 16. We've got motor oil burbot, quite an interesting sort of dark colour. And this one, top tip, Jan, Feb, March pike fishing. Red or orange baits are absolutely deadly. Also any coloured water, something that stands out like that's going to be brilliant. So that's called fire. So make sure you might have a little variety in your box there, but we've got a really cool colour range. Shad Teez 16 comes in, so this total bait to clip on is 55 grams, all right? As you can see, it's got a top hook. And my rule of thumb is always, if you're fishing a jig head or you've got a big top single hook coming out, get your little finger. You always want to have enough of the hook exposed that you can get your little finger underneath. Then for pike fishing, you're going to get a good hook up ratio, a good hook hold. You've also got the treble hanging on the bottom, and so anyone that knows the naked version of this, so just the soft plastic, that soft plastic comes in around 40 grams, just a touch under 40 grams. So we've basically got another 15 grams of kind of integrated weight and hardware on here. And that for me is the perfect balance for this sized bait and allows us to fish. I can cast this out, engage the reel straight away, keep the rod tip up, and I can fish this in pretty skinny water. If I give it a medium or a medium fast wind, I can fish this in just a couple of foot of water or over the top of weeds, all right? So really versatile. On the other end of the scale, if I want to drop it down slightly, I can basically probably fish this down towards about 20 foot, 5 to 6 meters, I would say. So again, we've got that perfect range from kind of 2 to about 20 foot. Say 1 to 5 meters, that is going to perform absolutely brilliantly in. We've played around in design with where in the inside on where to put the weight system, so it's perfectly balanced and it swims just like you always known the Shad Teez 16 to swim. Great bit of body roll, loads of tail action. This is just an out and out pike fishing, well, and zander as well, but this is really like a pike fishing masterclass for me, this bait. Again, the 55 gram range means that we can fish it where we're not like overly heavy. It's a size range that I think is around that kind of 6-inch mark. It's a good sized snack. It's not too small that we're not going to catch really proper ones on, but it's not too big that we're not going to get good hookup ratios, or we're only fishing for like huge fish. So I love this size. It's going to get you loads of bites, and you're always still in with a really good chance of a nice sized pike on that too. So there we go, Shad Teez 16. Moving on to, oh, hang on a second, Tom. Right, I was just talking about skinny water, fishing over the top of weeds. As you can notice, this hook here obviously dangles down, and as we're fishing over the top of weeds, that one has probably got the chance to catch any weeds. If you want to fish skinny water, if you want to fish around the weeds, get yourself some split ring pliers, and it's as simple as this. There we go, hook off, keep that safe somewhere, and then you've just got a perfect bait with a nice size single just on the top side of the bait. Makes it way more weedless. All right, so you're way less likely to catch up with some weed. Moving on to the bull tees, same kind of setup. We've got a really strong and really sharp single, fixed single on there. We've got a good sized treble on the bottom. So again, like I just said, you can remove that in weedy sort of situations or rocky situations. But we got one added extra on this bait. All right, and that is the fact that we've put a small O-ring underneath the chin. Now this bait comes in at 73, I think it is, 73 grams. So a little bit heavier. Yes, it's a little bit bigger. It's got a little bit more weight to it and rubber to it, but 73 grams. We're in that sort of 50 to 70, 80 gram range, which makes them absolutely easy to cast all day long and get loads of bites on. What we can do with this though, because the bull tees has got a much flatter profile than the Shad Teez, it tends to fish a little bit shallower. So even though it's actually a little bit heavier, the shape of the bait tends to fish a little bit shallower, and it's got a really mesmerizing sort of slow fall to it, where that curl tail comes down through the water. So again, perfect for fishing in and around weed beds or shallow water. But one of my top tips for curly tail baits is when you get into the winter, those pike move a little bit deeper, so they might be in that 15 to 20 plus foot range, and you might want to fish the bull tees a little bit deeper. That is what this ring is for. You get yourself some of these, so they're called switch weights, and you can clip them on. So I've got a 7 gram version here, and it's an absolute doddle. You can just twist them on straight away. 1, 2, 3, on we go. And then I've got a little bit of added weight there to just get me a little bit deeper. So it just gives me a little bit more versatility to fish the different depths. But also, once I've got this down to depth, nice slow fall on the way down, doing that really in that cold water in the winter, this is the one. It's all about that mesmerizing. You can't fish this too slow. It's got the tail works at the slowest speed that you can retrieve. All right, so you're always confident that there's a little bit of movement going on, and when those pike are a bit lethargic on those really cold days, slowing down can be the key. So that for me is a top tip. With these switch weights as well, you'll notice that they've got a rounded side this side and a flat side on the back. So just make sure you get them on the right way round, because then as they swim through the water, that pushes up underneath the chin and makes it really nicely aerodynamic. The color range in this one, again, we've got motor oil burbot. We've got a cool one here, which is pike. What's the actual name? Natural pike. We've got headlight, as always, fantastic. We've got cola perch, which is a little bit different. Loads of gold flake in that one. That one's really popular. And again, official roach. So it's not exactly the same color range, very similar, and the fire tiger as well, as you can see. So, but yeah, a couple of different color ranges in there, but some really special baits. Just a little note on packaging as well. We spend a lot of time getting the packaging just right to keep these baits protected. So when they end up with you, you can be super confident there's not going to be a twisted tail or a bent fin on it or anything like that. The hooks are protected, they're super sharp, so be careful. But yeah, there's a lot of thought that goes into the packaging to make sure that bait ends up in perfect condition when it arrives with you. In terms of rods and reels to fish them on, now because we're sub 100 grams, my rule of thumb, and this is just a personal thing, but it's what I like to do, sub 100 grams, I like to try and stick to rods and reels with spinning reels. Okay, so I've got the W4 here. I've got the W4 here, which is power lure, which is 30 to 100 grams. Absolutely awesome. That's the type of rod that I really like throwing my normal Shad Teezes on with various different jig heads. So not too much different. I got 55 grams. That is going to hit the sweet spot of this rod, and I can comfortably manage, you know, all the way up to 70, 80 grams, even if I've got some added weight on here with this 100 gram rod. If you do want to obviously move over to bait caster style reels, that's completely up to you. Again, we've got loads of rods in the range, power casts, all sorts of rods from W2, 3, 4 and upwards that would be perfect for throwing these types of lures. In terms of braid, again, my minimum that I'd be throwing baits on this like would be about 30 pound. So I've got some here, which is what I've got on this reel, which is 30 pound W6, which comes in at 0.235 of a millimeter. But again, the reason that I do that on a spinning reel is because a lot of the places that I might be bank fishing are big waters and I want maximum distance. So with a spinning reel and a braid that's still strong enough, but obviously thin enough that I can get really low friction and long casts in, that is my preferred kind of setup. But again, if you want to up the thickness of your braid, up the strength of your braid, or move over to a bait caster, then yeah, you're still going to get good distance and you might have some more strength, more durability, but that's what I'd go for. Minimum 30, anywhere between that kind of 30 pound, you know, 14, 15 kilo, up towards maybe 55, 60 pound if you really want to go super heavy for durability. I'd recommend that. These baits fish really well. So again, my rule of thumb is if I'm either wire or thick fluorocarbon for your traces, my minimum is normally this 16 centimeter Shad Teez is the minimum that I start using a fluorocarbon trace on. So 1 millimeter thickness fluorocarbon or a decent wire, again anywhere 30, 40, 50 pound wire or upwards if you want. But yeah, these baits are going to fish perfectly on wire or thick fluorocarbon, so just I'll leave that one up to you. So there we go guys, a few little tips about our ready to fish range. Love the colors, love the balance, love the swimming action. I've already taken them out. This one's already got teeth marks in it. There goes my rod. This one's already got loads of teeth marks in it. Pike approved. So there you go guys, check them out in your local Westin dealer. Shad Teez 16 ready to fish, Bull Teez 21 ready to fish.